Okay, so this week, I think we should either review Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four, or Fantastic Four.
Well, let me just say right now, we're definitely not reviewing Fantastic Four. But Fantastic Four would be fine to review, you know?
I gotta admit, I never even finished Fantastic Four.
It
but
is-
I did enjoy Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I
But-
mean, Fantastic Four is a horrible movie. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I almost vomited watching it. It was so bad. But Fantastic Four, on the other hand, totally enjoyable. Loved it, actually.
Yeah.
More than I thought I'd like it.
Yeah. But man, I don't know about you, but Fantastic Four was just a Frankenstein of a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, let's talk about Fantastic Four, but not Fantastic Four.
And definitely not Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, this is the Out of Touch podcast.
Hello. I'm Chris. That's Bill.
And today we're talking about Fantastic Four.
Yes. But which one are we talking about?
Well, definitely not Fantastic Four or Fantastic Four. Or as they should probably be called, The Fantastic Four and Fan Four Stick.
Yes.
But we will be talking about Fantastic Four and its sequel, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yes, the ones from the 2000s with Jessica Alba and Captain America.
And Michael Chiklis, and that guy whose name I can't pronounce.
Right. Who's really good, actually.
Yeah. So, you know, these movies have a bit of a... I'd say at the time they had kind of the reputation of like, oh, these movies suck. Boo. Hiss.
Yeah.
But, man, after Fan Four Stick,
Yeah.
I kind of reevaluated them, I'm not going to lie.
I actually always liked at least the first one.
You know what? I first saw the first one in theaters, and I'm not going to lie, when the credits rolled, my first reaction was that it?
Huh.
I mean, to be fair, this was like right after Batman Begins, so
That's true.
it was like there was like a high measuring stick, and that was probably too harsh. Because after seeing Fan Four Stick in 2015, my initial reaction to that movie was like, "Oh my God, I owe the other two Fantastic Four movies an apology."
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird to think that at least the first one came out with Batman Begins because, like, I remember rewatching the first one quite a bit because I had it on DVD, but I was like...
It had a lot of play on TV, and I used to catch part of it here and there just out of boredom.
Yeah, it's weird to think that, like, these were, like, right before MCU came out.
Rise of Silver Surfer, the year before Iron Man.
Yeah. But, so...
I guess a bit of a background. As a lot of people know, the film rights to the Fantastic Four have a weird history. They were purchased by, what was it, Constantine Films or something like that? When Marvel had their... Well, they basically collapsed.
Need money.
They filed for bankruptcy in the early 90s and had to just sell off all their film rights. Some of them got sold off in the 80s too, but it was like a fire sale almost. They pennies on the dollar.
Back in the 90s, Marvel was a very different company. They were constantly running out of money.
They almost destroyed themselves in the entire comic book industry.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I understand, they were like selling filing cabinets and chairs. And
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was super bad.
And so a lot of those contracts for film rights, they all have expiration dates. Like 5 to 7 years, depending on per contract, whatever the contract says, without making a movie, the rights revert. So whoever had the rights to the Fantastic Four very infamously basically got Roger Corman to shit out a movie that they never had any intention of releasing for like $1 million.
Yeah.
And it was never legally released. Marvel supposedly might have even destroyed the only real copies of the actual film.
Wow. Yeah, I guess the agreement was like as long as you're making things with the property, then
No one ever said you had to release it.
Yeah.
That was the loophole.
Yeah, you can have that property like forever, I guess.
And they got that into production. They got themselves another X amount of years. It seemed to be like a 7-year time limit on the Fantastic Four at least. And though At some point, they cut a deal with Fox, and Fox was able to get an extension from Marvel, and then they made Fantastic Four 2005.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not a bad movie. I think this movie sometimes on the internet is like a popular, like, let's make fun of this movie that, like, haha, it's bad, and I didn't really think it was that bad.
I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it still on this rewatch. Though, for clarity's sake, I deliberately watched the extended edition as opposed to the regular edition, which you watched.
Yeah, yeah. I watched the theatrical version, and yeah, I don't know how to go about it, but say, like, it's the Fantastic Four. I don't know if anybody would be really familiar with them. They're kind of...
Marvel kind of, after falling out with Fox, they kind of spent the last 10 or so years burying them.
I mean, yeah, essentially, the only thing I could think of recently with the Fantastic Four was they were very involved in the Marvel Comics event Secret Wars, and then...
That wasn't even that recent.
Yeah, and then they kind of disappeared, but I know they're back now in the comics.
Because Disney bought Fox, and now Marvel Studios is planning their own Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Fourth time's the charm, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but like with these movies, I mean, I don't know where to begin with. Like, it's like they fit in very well with like the Spider-Man Sam Raimi movies, and they're very much of that era.
I mean, if we go back to that era of superhero movies, there's way worse.
Yeah.
Catwoman, Elektra, Blade Trinity.
Yeah. Blade Trinity.
How do you fuck up Blade versus Dracula?
You were supposed to be the chosen one.
I mean, I guess we could start with the cast. I was surprised at how much more I always enjoyed The Thing and Human Torch.
Yeah.
But I was surprised at how much more, especially in the first one, I generally enjoyed everybody.
Yeah. I like all the Fantastic Four in general in this movie. Like, my only peeve, and it is something you're supposed to be annoyed at, but like, man, Johnny Storm is such an asshole. Like, he really is like the worst.
It really, to be fair, it's a credit to Chris Evans' range as an actor that he could play that so well.
Yeah.
And then go completely the other way as this earnest, good guy, Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Kudos to him.
Yeah, but I guess like it's hard to say. Like, the story is like they go into space, they get powers, and then hilarity ensues.
Pretty much. I mean, it's the second of 3 attempts at a Fantastic Four origin story.
Yeah.
I never saw all of the Roger Corman one. You, me, and another friend tried watching it, and you made me turn it off after about 20 minutes.
I was gonna throw up.
I was disappointed because I just wanted to see how bad it got. I was like, no, we got to keep going. They haven't even gotten their powers yet.
It was really bad. And I think the thing is, like, it wasn't so bad, like, that it was funny. It was just, like, bad.
I think probably the biggest source of contention for some people, and I kind of understand why, is this movie's version of Doctor Doom.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot to be said about him. He's Norman Osborn, like you said.
Yeah, his arc in this movie, once they get their abilities in space, it just beat for beat follows the Norman Osborn storyline from the first Spider-Man movie. From the getting told by the board of directors type people, you're out, we're done with you, to killing one of his rivals at the company, and just going mad.
Yeah, also, like, he has like electric powers that are like turning him into like metal.
It's weird.
It is weird because I guess the whole thing was like they were on the space station, cosmic rays. That's all we really get is cosmic rays. His powers were like he combined it with this like special shield on the space station.
I mean, what they seem to do is like they seem to make it kind of like, oh, the powers are kind of elemental.
Yeah.
Johnny Storm was like, oh, I'm on fire, light for Invisible Woman, and I don't know, did he get hit by a rock? The Thing?
Maybe. He was out in space. There's a lot of rocks in space.
I mean, credit where credit's due that he was more exposed than the rest of them, and that's why he's like full on instead of just like able to turn it on and off with his thing ring, do your thing.
Yeah, but also like
Cheap reference.
Doctor Doom can't turn it on and off either
Well,
because he's like kind of his is kind of more gradual. He's like mutating.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess that was their attempt to do like Doctor Doom's disfigurement.
Yeah. And they even have the thing too where like at the beginning his disfigurement is not really even that bad. He has like a scar on his face and he's just like, my beautiful face. But then
It gets worse. It's like peeling off.
yeah. I guess as the movie goes on we can talk more about Doctor Doom. But like let's go with the actual four first.
The real standout is Michael Chiklis as the Thing.
He's great.
He is fantastic. He's no pun intended.
Yeah, he's the best part of the movie, and he has a lot of good stuff. He has like fiance at the beginning of the movie that is like, they're totally like in love and stuff, and then she sees him as the Thing, and she's like immediately like, oh my god, no. So fast, kind of unrealistically fast, to be honest.
Yeah, because I think initial reaction would be like, oh my god, what happened? What can we do? It's like, oh, Reed's gonna fix this, and then they fix it, and then maybe they stay together. But she's just like, ew, Rockman.
Yeah, she's like, hey, like you just like saved like the town, but I'm gonna like put your engagement ring on the road and like never talk to me again.
It's so weird.
It really is.
She's more evil than Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Chiklis was apparently a fan of the comics, and like he was very insistent on wearing like prosthetics. He didn't want to do like a CGI thing, which considering how sometimes CGI in that era was not always the best and probably wouldn't have aged well, I think it was probably a good call.
Yeah. I think the suit for the most part looks pretty good.
He does kind of look smaller than he should at times.
Yeah.
But he is the heart of the movie. You feel so bad for this guy, and you just want him to win out in the end because he's the ever-loving Thing, for crying out loud.
And it doesn't help that like Johnny Storm is such an asshole even before he becomes a Thing. Like after the accident, they're in like they're in the hospital and then like
quarantine
and Johnny Storm is just like, okay, Ben, don't freak out, but like
they did
whatever they could, and then like he takes the mirror and he looks like the same still, and he's just like, you asshole.
I mean, it's kind of a fun fake out because going in that something does happen to him.
Yeah. But
I should say, one thing I liked in the extended edition, which I originally saw on TV and FX, and it only seems to be available on DVD, is that there's just more of his story. Like there's more scenes with the blind girl, wasn't it Alicia?
Alicia.
Yeah. Like there's more to that. Like she's in more of the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's like an entire removed subplot almost, where they have their little meet moment, and she like feels his face. That's in the theatrical version. And then later on, he's walking down the street, and there's just a sculpture of him in a window, and he walks in, and it's her, and like I guess because she's an artist.
Yeah. They
have this like sort of date. She takes him to like a gallery thing, but he kind of like freaks out because people are kind of like looking at him and laughing at him, and he overhears a couple of her friends being like, "Oh God, can you believe that she did this? She brought this thing here. Oh God, just a couple of assholes."
Wow.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. If you kind of like this movie, check out the extended edition. It's got some more character stuff in it.
Yeah, like that actually sounds like it really benefits the movie.
It did. It really did, because it's more of the Thing that worked the most.
It's very hard talking about him.
Thing.
Do you get it?
We talked a little bit about Johnny Storm. He's Johnny Storm. He's a dick.
Yeah, he's man.
They try so hard to make him like I'm the coolest guy. Yo, it's mid 2000s, so I could still be like all problematic and a prick.
Kind of, yeah. He's got, probably the second best powers, or maybe the best powers, depending on.
He can fly.
Yeah, he can fly, and he's the only one like very enthusiastic about like having powers. Like he discovers them first, while he's like skiing in the most like early 2000s way, where it's just like jumping out of like a helicopter onto like a mountain, and he's snowboarding with I guess it was like a nurse or a doctor from the hospital.
A nurse, yeah. This movie it's probably the most mid 2000s when he leaves the Baxter Building later on in the movie just to go to the X Games.
Yeah,
and then
true.
when he performs his Human Torch stunt and he rips off revealing his Fantastic Four outfit, and they play the 50 Cent song "Fire." I'm like, this is so of its time. Everything in this scene is of its time.
Yeah, I guess like the only thing like he was missing was like the flip do, and
I've seen this pointed out before. It's a miracle that he's not with like frosted tips, but I think that was a little late for that.
Yeah.
A few years earlier though.
Yeah, definitely.
He would have had them.
And he'd probably have the flip do too.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, Chris Evans' hair probably just couldn't do it anyway, so they just go for it's generic cool guy shave head.
Yeah.
Because I think for like Captain America, they just put a wig on him.
Yeah. It's just like, your hair doesn't do anything.
Your hair is too generic. We needed to do something. I really like the guy that's Mr. Fantastic. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's weird.
Impossible name.
Ian? No, it's not Ian. It's Leon. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know his name either, but he is actually really good.
He plays it that like absent-minded, distracted by science thing. I think it's best exemplified when Sue shows up wearing the blue leotard, and he's just like, wow, look at this material. And he's just completely ignoring the drop-dead gorgeous Jessica Alba in skin-tight suit. Because that's Reed Richards.
Yeah.
That's how he is.
He's such a nerd, but like he doesn't understand, like...
He doesn't mean to do it.
Yeah, he's not like hurtful on purpose.
He's just excited by science.
Yeah. He's very into his work, and... He's all about it, and it's kind of like endearing how he's like so into like just being a scientist and whatever. Yeah, he's a really good Mr. Fantastic though. They never make him like an asshole or anything, and he even gets some like cool like power moments in the movie with his like stretchiness. A lot of their power moments in this movie are just them like doing everyday things, really.
Reaching for toilet paper.
Yeah. There's like, there's the scene, when they all first like debut as the Fantastic Four, because like Ben is just sitting on the bridge, like kind of being like, oh man, what am I gonna do now? My wife doesn't want to be with me, or fiance. And then, like, some guy's about to, like, jump off the bridge to kill himself, and, like, he's like, you think you got problems?
He's like, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm a rock man. And, of course, the guy's natural reaction is, ah!
Yeah, and then it's weird, because, like, they're like, the Fantastic Four, like, saved the day, but it's like, Ben Grimm kind of, like, caused most of the damage by, like, taking, like, a truck in the shoulder.
He probably could have handled that a little differently.
Yeah. I mean, really, it was the guy trying to kill himself's fault for all of it, but it is kind of a weird scene. How dare you cause all this
calamity, you suicidal man, you.
Yeah, it is
it's all your fault.
Yeah.
Go jump off a cliff. Oh, no.
Yeah, get some therapy, I guess, or something.
Go jump in a therapist chair.
Yeah.
So, Sue Storm.
Sue Storm is really good. She's...
Jessica Alba.
Yeah, which, I mean, one of the most attractive women, like, ever, kind of. But besides that, like, she plays Sue Storm really well, too, because...
when she's given, like, stuff to do.
Yeah, more so in the second movie, she's kind of like, oh, you're Sue Storm.
You're sad.
I mean...
You're sad about the wedding.
In some ways, it's kind of like, Sue Storm in the comics was always kind of, like, marginalized and being like, you're the girl.
After a certain point, they kind of realize, like, well, her powers are kind of awesome.
Yeah.
So let's make her a badass.
In some ways, she's technically, I think, the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four.
That's generally accepted because she could do some crazy stuff with those force fields.
Yeah.
They never quite do anything too crazy with that in these movies, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would say not until the second movie she does like something pretty impressive.
I mean, she throws like a force shield at Doctor Doom at one point, but like there's no like she's not doing like the force field ball or anything like that.
Yeah, her stuff with Reed Richards is really good though.
And there's there's even more of it in the extended edition where we just see them getting closer and closer, and Ben just being like, "You're supposed to be working on the thing, Reed."
Yeah.
And Doctor Doom just kind of like negging him along, and there's even a scene where he's kind of negging Johnny, be like, "Oh, Johnny, why don't you go out and be cool and awesome and go away so I can kill Reed? I mean, so you can live your life and I can kill Reed."
Pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, they never really like she is supposed to be a scientist, but it's kind of like never really
It's only
stated how good of a scientist she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
She's like kind of like she was Reed Richards' assistant and girlfriend, and then she was Doctor Doom's assistant, and maybe not even girlfriend, but Doctor Doom sure thought they were girlfriends.
It's even more
and boyfriend.
Yeah, in the extended version, there's like an entire scene where she's like, "I don't think we should start a relationship, Victor. It's kind of weird. I work for you."
Yeah, 'cause, like he wants to like marry her, and she's just like, "Wait, what?
It's
like
like,
we're not even dating. What's going on?"
Yeah, way to jump the gun, Vic. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
So I guess Doctor Doom now, like most inconsistent, like he's a businessman like Norman Osborn. Also, he's from like a weird country called Latveria that will make sure to mention just in case.
Just so you know that he's from that thing from the comics. It's never gonna be a thing in these movies.
Not really.
Like,
sort of in the second one, and even that is stretching it.
He's in Latveria.
Yeah.
Does that count?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like him in the beginning as like kind of just this smarmy asshole. I think he does good.
Yeah.
And they kind of play it up well. It's just he gets less interesting as the movie progresses, I feel.
Yeah, he's very I don't know the name of the actor that plays him, but he kind of reminds me of like he looks kind of like Seth MacFarlane a little bit. Like just a little bit.
I don't see it.
Well, I see it. Maybe I'm weird, but
I used to know it. I can't think of his name at the moment.
yeah. Like his whole villain arc too is just kind of like in both movies it's just like I want power. Why? Because I want power.
Well, in the first movie, he just wants to kill Reed Richards because he's like, "You ruined me, so I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, you ruined my face and you stole my not girlfriend.
So I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
But then in the second movie, his arc is, "I want that surfboard
Yeah.
because I want to hang 10."
I will be the one at the beach.
If there was like probably one of my few issues, and it's always been a problem with this movie, is like there's no real action until like the very end, like in terms of like get some spectacle, like the sun, whatever the hell, the solar flare, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, where Johnny.
It's like, oh my god, it's crazy, and then like, but they just have like a bit of a punch up with Doctor Doom, and then the movie's over.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the first X-Men in that, where there's no action till the very end.
Yeah, sort of.
Though X-Men, I think, had a more compelling story.
Yeah, I mean, the only action thing I can really remember of this movie is like the final battle is kind of underwhelming because like Doctor Doom decides like oh, I need more energy to power my powers, and he like tricks Ben Grimm into like getting rid of his powers and the machine Reed made, and then he absorbs that energy from Ben Grimm not getting his powers, and then he's more powerful, and it ends with them fighting on the street. And I just remember like somebody throws a bus at him and he just like walks out of the bus, and he has a big gun.
he gets a car thrown at him into a bus. He fights the thing in a pool at one point. Like you only even really see him in like a Doctor Doom outfit for like a couple of minutes, because then it's all torn up by the time they hit the streets.
It's weird too because he just puts on that mask like for no reason.
No, I mean, granted, I don't know how it, because I didn't watch the theatrical one. I watched the extended cut. He like looks at himself and he's like, no. I think it's just like a pride thing. It's just his face is all fucked up at this point.
Yeah, maybe they should have had some context of like, why does he have that mask? What the hell is that?
He has it because he needs to be Doctor Doom at the end of the movie, Chris.
I mean, that's it, isn't it? Like, he just has it.
Yeah. There's no real reason.
Because it's just like, he has this crazy mask.
He has it because he needs to be Doctor Doom.
Like, they could have made it like, oh, this is a Ludvarian knight helmet or something.
Ooh, or a vet, like a Man in the Iron Mask type torture device from Latveria. That could have been like an interesting little anecdote in the beginning of the movie when they're at his office.
Man, that would have just made him such an edgelord. This is my Latvian torture mask. There is only pain behind these eyes.
Because he has a metal mask in a case in his office, and he just takes it.
Yeah.
Puts it on. Not even sure why he puts on a cloak.
Ladveria.
Because he has to be Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
He has to resemble Doctor Doom somewhat.
He has electric powers because even though this movie's kind of ridiculous, Magic Iron Man is too ridiculous for 2005.
And they melt him into like a statue, and he gets shipped to Latveria by his assistant.
Yeah.
And the Fantastic Four praise his heroes.
Yeah, the way it ends too is like Johnny Storm's just like flying him around him, and he's just like, I could take it. And then like Reed is just like, what happens when you cool metal rapidly? And then he just like, like you said, freezes, and then everybody's just like, hey, let's have a 2005 party in a nightclub.
And they were on a boat.
You're right. I'm thinking of the second movie. There's a lot of big parties in these movies.
A little bit.
Yeah.
There's even a scene in the first one that in the extended cut where Johnny Storm kind of learns a lesson. Because like I said, there's just a lot of character stuff that was cut out, I guess.
Huh.
Where he's being an obnoxious prick and he's being a show off. Everyone's like, "Yay, woo!" And then he hits on some girl, but she's got a boyfriend. Boyfriend makes a smart mother's like, "What do you do? Try to steal everyone's freaking girlfriend? You think you're so good?" And he like lights the dude's drink on fire. It's like, "Bro, what the hell's wrong with you? You could have killed somebody." And everyone there just like, fucking asshole, just like turns away from him, like starts shunning him. He's like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah, I guess they were just like, we can't make Johnny Storm like super unlikable, even though he kind of is in some ways.
But that was like a moment of him like, "Oh, I guess maybe I should try to be better instead of just being a celebrity, I guess."
Yeah, it's weird. He kind of has this like reality TV vibe to him. He's almost like he's a YouTuber, like a big time YouTuber before YouTube was really like a thing in many ways, like a current day YouTuber. I won't mention any names, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, probably.
He recently had a fight with somebody. That's the look of a man who just died a little bit inside.
If I was a boxing fan, I would have.
Yeah.
Boxing has officially become pro wrestling. Thanks, Floyd.
I mean, it kind of has been for
a while.
But
that cemented it.
Yeah.
But may as well change the name to World Wrestling Entertainment.
Totally.
Trying to think if there's anything else worth mentioning from the extended cut. No, I think that about covers it. More for the Reed-Sue relationship, more for the Ben-Alicia relationship, Johnny Storm learning a bit of a lesson.
Yeah. I don't know if I've never seen the extended cut.
It's more the watch.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is there more pranks with Johnny Storm and Thing?
No, I think all that stuff was left in the movie. There might be.
That stuff is kind of enjoyable. Like when he puts the cream in his hand, and he's trying to like wake him up, and he has the feather, and it's like, oh, it's not working because he's a rock man.
There was one bit of Johnny Storm shenanigans that, definitely wouldn't fly today, I think, where he's just riding up and down the elevator of the Baxter building. And, like, I guess Maxim models just live in that building besides... It's just Reed Richards and just supermodels because there's just beautiful women keep coming on. It's like, oh, man, it's so hot in here. And he's like, I know, right? Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's been like this all day. And he's just hitting on the women on the elevator because I guess this is what happens when he's Like, you can't leave the Baxter building. It's like, okay, I won't leave the Baxter building.
Yeah, it's like, well, there's the modeling agency on this building, and
Seriously.
yeah.
But I guess we'll move on to the sequel, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, this movie starts off very strong and then kind of doesn't really get bad, but sort of just kind of is just like fizzles out.
I mean, the movie's 90 minutes with credits. It's
Yeah.
so short.
Yeah. But I guess the big thing is Reed and Sue are trying to get married, but
And apparently they've tried multiple times and something always interrupts it.
yeah, because the Fantastic Four have been superheroing about for a while, but they never really. It's kind of weird in
We
this.
never see it.
Yeah, it's weird in the world that like they're superheroes, they have all these powers, but like, you know, maybe they should have been like, you know what, like why don't we show them like fighting a monster or something,
Or
you
just,
know?
They're just crying. Anything.
Yeah.
Like, we get a mention of, like, oh, we
I feel like they're a
owe
little
some
too
money.
overpowered for just like petty crime, but like
Yeah.
that's kind of like all you really see. If they kind of introduced like oh no, there's like monster people sometimes, or
oh,
like,
here's the mole man.
yeah, something crazy like that would be like, oh, okay, that
A
like,
guy with a ray gun.
yeah.
Screw it. Toad from the X-Men.
Guy's got goggles and a gut ray gun.
There was like, this movie only has like a few available deleted scenes. Some of them are just wedding preparation stuff, just some shenanigans with Johnny and Ben dropping wedding cakes and nonsense like that. And then there was one I kind of liked where there's like a Fantastic Four gift shop at the Baxter building, and Johnny Storm is like to some guy that works there. It's like, hey, make sure you put the Human Torch figures up high. So those are our best sellers. Like, and the guy's like, nah, actually the Thing outsells everybody. And he's just like a little kid with like a Thing doll, and he's holding up like a Human Torch. And he's like, huh? And the kid's just like, and he just walks away with his Thing action figure.
Nice. Yeah, it is weird. Like they're super famous in the second one.
Yeah, there's like entertainment reports on them and gossip, and they're just getting hounded by paparazzi.
It's like it's an interesting angle that honestly doesn't annoy me as much as I bet it probably did when I was younger. But like,
it fits the Fantastic Four because they
Yeah.
are public figures,
yeah,
more so than most other superheroes.
yeah. The only thing that like I said, like if they had something to like do at the beginning of the movie where they're fighting a monster or something, I'd be like, oh, okay. But like you never really see exactly why they're famous. The movie's just like they're the Fantastic Four and they're famous now.
Well, they punched a guy in a hood once.
Yeah, but like that was so like self-contained. It's just like I want to hurt you guys, not the city, even though the city will get hurt in my wrath against you people. But like Dr. Doom wasn't like I'm going to directly kill people because I'm evil. It's like I'm going to kill you guys, and if people get in my way, they will die. But that is not my goal.
I'm just gonna shoot lightning in this direction.
Yeah.
If they're smart and they stand back, they won't get vaporized.
Yeah.
But I don't care if they do.
Yeah, Dr. Doom's like, I want to kill you so bad that I will kill other people if they get in the way. But just to let you guys know, I just want to kill you.
So this movie centers around the arrival of the Silver Surfer to Earth. Silver
Yeah.
Surfer, Herald of Galactus, infamously shown as nothing more than a cloud in this movie.
Didn't bother me as much as it used to.
Probably because you're just used to it at this point.
Yeah, one aspect I kind of liked about the Silver Surfer in this movie was like, you know, he's kind of just like on Earth, and at first you're like, why is he still there? But it's like, oh, he actually gets like the planet ready for Galactus to eat. Like he's like making like these big holes and shit for Galactus to like, you know, he's just like, I know you have trouble chewing, baby, so I'm gonna make it all nice and soft for you.
Here comes the surfboard.
Yeah. And like he just like he's prepping the planet, and he's got like crazy powers that like make matter get all like weird when he's around. Like the ocean in Japan just kind of, it doesn't really freeze, but like the water just turns like solid. and like the guy's just like standing there after the Silver Surfer flies by. Like there's just like weird anomalies, and that whole aspect of him is pretty interesting, and I guess kind of different than the comics, because I don't know how much havoc he like really has just being around, just because like he's a good guy most of the time now.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't his whole thing was that he just found the planets and was like, that one.
Yeah, he's just like, it's over here.
I guess you got to give him something to do. So him prepping the world, it's an interesting angle to follow.
Yeah, I like that.
Otherwise,
aspect.
it's just like he's just sitting in space being like, I'll be here soon, I guess.
Yeah, and time to find the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never really get into like any of the things beyond like, it's just like Galactus eats planets. Why? He because that's what Galactus does. You read the comics because that's what he does. Silver Surfer leads him to the planet. Galactus eats the planet. Silver Surfer kind of feels bad about it.
But if he does this, Galactus won't eat his planet.
Yeah.
They do tease Galactus's like comic book form when he first arrives in the solar system. You see, they kind of give you a fake out look of this. It looks like the silhouetted helmet on like Saturn, but also I think Galactus eats Saturn on his way to Earth because it looks like it gets vaporized.
I don't know too, because like, you know, some things kind of, you know, just being a science nerd in general, it's kind of like, why does Galactus want to eat Earth? Like, there's like a bunch of other planets that are like bigger than Earth in our solar system. Like, why doesn't he want to eat one of them? They sometimes should be like, well, you know, like maybe he wants to eat Earth because like Earth has like, you know, a bunch of iron, and Galactus eats iron because that's what he does. Like, but
Life force, cosmic energy. Shut up.
yeah, because it's like well, Earth has a magnetic field. Yeah, Jupiter has a bigger magnetic field. So why does he just eat Jupiter?
Earth has water. Maybe he's thirsty.
Once again, the moons of Jupiter have way more water than Earth. So,
well, you see, Chris, there's a lot of flesh and stuff, and so it's like seasoning.
he's like, I need bone and meat.
I need meat and vegetables. I need a full course meal.
Yeah. But you know, it's just a movie though.
I'm sure there's a nonsensical explanation in the comics that explains it perfectly
I
fine.
mean, everything is like, Earth is special because that's where we live, yo.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, most of the plot is just them chasing around the Silver Surfer while Sue's just like, we were supposed to get married. I mean, there's a cool chase between Human Torch and Silver Surfer where, at the end, Human Torch's powers get out of whack and he starts switching powers with everybody.
Yeah, he can like switch powers when he touches somebody. I mean, it's kind of fun that like Ben Grimm is immediately like, "Oh boy," and then like Reed's like, "Wait, you don't know what'll happen." He's just like, "I know what's gonna happen," and then like he gets the fire powers, like throws the fireball in like Johnny's face, and he's just like, "Oh, I get why you do this all the time. This is pretty fun."
Johnny's stuck looking like the Thing for a minute.
Yeah,
and he's just like, ah!
He's got hair too, which is like weird.
I mean, to be fair, this version of Ben Grimm is bald.
Yeah.
So maybe he would have had hair.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'm trying to think like too, like there's this like general guy that shows up too that is like totally like this guy, if like this was another time, it's like this guy could have totally been like Nick Fury or General Ross.
They wanted him to be Nick Fury.
Oh man.
They tried to get him to be Nick Fury, but I think Marvel Studios was already planning what they were planning, and they were like, "Fuck you."
Yeah. No.
So they were like, "Okay, fine. It'll be just some generic General Jackass."
Yeah.
But originally, they wanted to use Nick Fury for that role.
That would have been so interesting.
I guess, but I think things worked out well.
Yeah, I
all
mean,
things
like,
considered.
at the same time, it's just like, man, like, did you know Nick Fury was in the Fantastic Four movie?
No, but he was played by David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, I guess that's true, huh?
Yep.
Never seen that movie.
He used to get played on TV a lot, the TV movie.
Really?
I used to see it. I didn't watch it, but I would see it in like the guide. I was like, oh shit, that's on again.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know why I never watched it.
Probably because it's really bad.
Yeah. That's probably one of those things like, hey, look, it's that Nick Fury movie. Oh, look, RoboCop. I'll watch that for like the 70th time.
You would have made the right choice.
Yeah, but I don't know what else to say about like Rise of the Silver Surfer besides like it's like all the members of the Fantastic Four still continue to be like really good in this.
As good as they can be. Sue's got nothing to work with.
Yeah, she has one instance where you get to see like kind of like how powerful she can be because like she stops like this Ferris wheel, that big one in London they always show from like falling down, and then like while she's stopping it, she's also like standing like above like water too. Yeah. And it's just like, oh shit, like she can do like a lot.
She even had that moment where she threatens Doctor Doom, be like, I'll make your head explode with a force field because I can do that.
Yeah, she says like, no, she says something like, I can make a force field inside your body and make you explode.
So, whatever, something like that, because she could.
Yeah.
Doctor Doom's, do you think he has which design do you think looks better? 2 or 1?
Honestly, I think like 2's technically does look better. But like it's like more nonsensical what he's trying to do.
Oh yeah, his story makes no sense. I'm just talking about the costume.
Yeah, like Doom seems like a jackass in this because
he was a jackass in the first one.
Because like he's not smart enough to be Doctor Doom because it's like I'm gonna take the Silver Surfer's power. Yeah, what are you gonna do about Galactus? I don't know. I got the Silver Surfer's powers now.
The comic book Doctor Doom would be like, oh, I'll kill Galactus.
Yeah.
Like he would have a plan.
Yeah.
And maybe it wouldn't work, but he would have had a plan.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna make Galactus my herald.
Yeah, he would be like, I'm gonna make Galactus my bitch.
And then bring peace to the universe. Except if you don't acknowledge me as the absolute ruler of everything.
Bow to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a better version of Doctor Doom than we got in Fan-4-Stick, which was the worst Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
I didn't even see Doctor Doom show up in the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie, but it just has to be better than the Fan-4-Stick one. Melted garbage bag face.
Yeah, I mean, like, when it comes to Doctor Doom plots, I guess if you're comparing to Fan-4-Stick, it's kind of like he wants power, and then and then Fan-4-Stick, he's evil now, and he came back to Earth, and then went back home.
And he's gonna destroy Earth because
he's gonna destroy Earth because he realized I'd much rather live on this crazy nightmare world with lightning and like space goo than like Earth. Because you know what? Like drive-through fast food is not as cool as glowing alien slime. That movie sucks.
Utter crap. I don't know what the original version of that movie might have looked like, but you know what? Who the fuck cares?
Yeah. In some ways, Rise of the Silver Surfer, too, reminds me of when I was watching it. And I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but I'm like, this is kind of like Batman and Robin, but like slightly better. Just because, like, I'm like, you got the fun heroes, and like, I was kind of thinking, like, okay, like action figures. Then you have the like fantastic car show up for like no reason. That like, I'm like, this is like the dumbest vehicle ever. They're flying in the sky. They don't have like any cover over them. They're just driving with their like eyes open with no goggles, and this thing's supposed to be going super fast. And I'm like, and it divides into like 3 parts. I'm like, that's a fun toy, but not like a real good vehicle.
To be fair, I don't think Mr. Fantastic and the Thing would be affected by it. And Invisible Woman, force field in her face.
Yeah, so, that's true.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Storm is just like, I fly.
I'm on fire.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I guess that's true. You're right. The movie.
But yeah, it's a total toy. That's why it's in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's from the comics, and I'm sure it looks as goofy as it does in the comics. I don't know if you ever saw the leaked pictures from Fan-4-Stick where they have the Fantastic car, but it's like a piece of shit. But I'm okay with it because it doesn't come completely from nowhere. It's like under a tarp earlier in the movie. So it's like, at least it's a setup and a payoff. We didn't need the product placement was bad though.
Yeah, and to be honest, it does make sense. Like, the movie begins with them, like, flying on a regular plane. which is kind of like weird because like it's like, oh, they're the Fantastic Four.
They fly coach too.
Yeah.
So I think that might have been Reed being cheap or trying to be a dick or something.
It's just like Reed. It's like Reed's a good scientist, but he's not good with money.
Derp.
But like Sue's there, and like you think Sue would be like,
You got Ben a center seat in coach?
yeah,
I don't know who that's more cruel to.
yeah. It's like Sue Storm Smart. She'd be like, no, like you would in the comics, I guess, or just in general, you think like Sue would be like, I know how to like direct Reed's energy.
And also, the thing in the comics couldn't even fit on a commercial airliner.
Yeah,
He's huge.
he is huge. The thing will fit just fine on this airplane.
I don't even know if the airplane could carry him. Probably weighs half a ton.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, and then we get the Silver Surfer be like, oh, like my Norrin Rad is his real name.
Yeah, Silver Surfer. He's motion captured by Doug Jones, who was in the Hellboy movies and
Right.
Shape of Water, voiced by Lawrence Fishburne.
Which is kind of dumb. Like, why didn't they just have Doug Jones do the voice then?
Because Doug Jones isn't famous.
Yeah.
Man.
Silver Surfer did sound cool though. Like, you know,
I mean, yeah, this
Lawrence Fishburne is a cool guy.
It's Lawrence. I mean, I got a story.
Oh, well.
It's not bad, but
Okay.
I got a story.
Okay.
I won't tell it here.
Yeah.
But if I ever met Lawrence Fishburne, man, I would feel awkward. And he'd be like, "Shut up, kid." Look, I like Lawrence Fishburne as an actor. I just would never want to meet him because he'd be super awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say he's probably the voice of the Silver Surfer in this movie because this is like a couple years after The Matrix.
Yeah.
And this is like right after Take the Pill, Neo. So he's got a cool voice.
He's got a good voice. Yeah.
We've only gotten the one line of dialogue in the early trailers to get an idea of what the Doug Jones performance would have been like. And it probably would have been fine because he is a good actor himself.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just like, if you want to spend the money, I guess.
Yeah.
Just so you could slap his name in the credits.
Yeah, it's totally like one of those situations where, you know, the, what was it, 2014 Ninja Turtles, where they're just like, hey, like, what the Johnny Knoxville is Leonardo or something.
Yeah, and then he didn't even come back for the sequel.
Yeah.
We'll just keep the guy from the mocap because we realized, they don't really sound that different. And you know what? We don't want to. We're spending more money because we're putting Bebop and Rocksteady in this movie. So let's get Johnny Knoxville the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just stunt casting. That's all it is. It happens all the time, and it happened to Doug Jones a few times, especially in this time period.
Yeah.
The first Hellboy movie, he was dubbed over by what's his name, David Hyde Pierce from Frasier.
Oh yeah.
Who then refused to be credited and refused to promote the movie because he was like, "Oh, why'd you do that to this guy? His performance is fine. You don't even need me."
Huh.
And then he just didn't come back for the sequel, and they just kept Doug Jones.
There we go.
And yeah, Doug Jones was fine. You didn't need to waste the money on David Hyde Pierce. I mean, kudos to him for being all like, yeah, why'd you do this?
Yeah. It's like, that's dumb.
It's dumb and you're dumb.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to hang out with that dog now because that dog is awesome.
That dog's probably dead by then.
No. I'm sad now.
I mean, actually, because Eddie was played by two dogs.
Oh no.
The first dog and his son.
The first dog ate the second dog.
Well, I don't think that he would eat his own son.
Oh. Well, you know, animals are weird.
Not dogs.
That's true.
When do dogs eat their young?
Dogs are good boys.
Yeah.
And good girls.
Usually.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, so Silver Surfer does stuff and, you know, he's got, like, a moment with, like, you know, Sue Richards, and like he's just like, you remind me of my wife on my home planet, because
his wife must be hot.
Probably. And then like he's like, I'll spare this planet and lead Galactus away from Earth.
Oh no, he kills Galactus.
I guess he does.
I mean, if they made a follow-up, it probably would have been like, oh no, he survived, and look, it's the actual purple helmet guy.
Yeah. Do you think that would work in live action?
I don't know.
Like I want in some ways I'm like would they ever do it where like it's just like here's like this like a gigantic like Godzilla sized man
With
that's
the weirdest helmet ever.
like maybe the MCU will do it someday and I'll be like I'm excited in the fact of like how are you gonna make me like this because in some ways I get why they did the Cloud because like
Yeah, at the time it was there was nothing that weird in comic book movies at that point.
yeah, and in some ways too, like the Cloud thing would have worked maybe even a little bit more if like the Cloud actually like in this movie the Cloud is more or less a force of nature that has some sort of intelligence, but we never really get an idea of it. And maybe if there was an instance where like Galactus's like head manifest as like a cloud looking like Andros thing that's just like Surfer, why have you like betrayed me?
It
or
almost
something.
does, and it almost has the outline of the classic Galactus look, but
Yeah.
it's not. They could have went further.
Yeah.
Like, show me some eyes, show me a face, give me a voice.
Yeah.
That's who Lawrence Fishburne should have voiced.
Yeah, if he was just like show Galactus maybe talking like I don't need to see him like full blown like giant man in purple costume.
Like he could have been just like, my herald, you betray me.
Yeah. Like something where Silver Surfer's like trying to defeat him and it's just like you cannot defeat the person that gave you your power. Like
But instead Silver Surfer's like, I refuse. We both die.
Yeah.
Explode. But then Silver Surfer is alive in the mid-credit scene.
there was a mid-credit scene.
You didn't know about that?
No.
This movie came out in 2007, dude.
Yeah.
You didn't know about the mid-credit scene?
No, I did not. That's interesting.
Yeah, like you see him floating in space. It looks like he's dead, but as he passes the camera, his eye opens up and the surfboard starts coming towards him,
Oh,
revealing that he is alive
cool.
for a potential spin-off movie that they never made.
Right, because his rights are kind of like owned separately from the Fantastic Four,
Yeah, I
but
think-
Fox owned them both.
Yeah, I think Fox might have acquired their rights, the Silver Surfer Galactus rights, separately.
Yeah. Wasn't there like an infamous thing where like back when like Fox, wasn't bought by Disney, like Fox was just like, hey, like we need more time to develop this new Daredevil movie, and then like Disney was just like, that's cool, why don't you just give us the rights back to Silver Surfer then, and then you can develop your Daredevil movie. And then they're like, never mind.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because like I've seen the story claimed to be like that they wanted, just give us Fantastic Four, but I think they just said Silver Surfer and Galactus.
Yeah.
But like they were like, no, because I felt like, I guess because they wanted to reboot Fantastic Four, they felt like, no, we need them for that.
Yeah.
That movie that we made and made terribly and then it bombed, then we would have never been able to make another one anyway. They should have just kept Daredevil.
It's such a tragedy how bad that movie really is.
It's not even worth talking about.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
I don't remember it that well.
That's okay. I'll just say this. It's Fantastic Four. It sucks.
Do you remember Chronicle? Like, what about like that except like bad?
It's so butchered by reshoots. There's an inconsistent platinum wig on the lady that plays Sue Storm in that movie. The Thing doesn't wear pants because I don't know. It's weird. There's no chemistry within the cast at all. Doctor Doom is terrible.
It's like a non-character.
He's barely in the movie. Like he's not. Victor Von Doom shows up eventually.
Yeah.
Then is gone once they get their powers, and it shows up in like the last 10 minutes to have a fight scene, and then the movie ends, and it's terrible. There's a reason why everyone, by that time Fan Force came out, just wanted Marvel Studios to get their rights back. And when Disney bought Fox, Marvel fans were like, yay, all the characters are back together. But everyone else is like, oh no, Disney's gobbling up everything.
Yeah. But, well, these two Fantastic Four movies are pretty good. And the cartoon is freaking amazing because of the last episode.
That's the one that you showed me where they're fighting Galactus and Ghost Rider shows up out of nowhere and hits him with a penance stare.
It's one of the coolest things ever. Because that's all you need Ghost Rider to do. Shows up, does a cool thing, rides away.
I would love it if they stole that for the MCU, where it's like, how do we beat Galactus? And then Ghost Rider hits him with a penance stare, and the trillions upon trillions of lives Galactus has taken over the years, all their pain is just thrown at him.
It was such a mind-blowing moment when I was a kid. It was just like, what? This is insane. Yeah, but the cartoon is good. These two movies are good. And this movie is,
It's a thing that exists.
yeah, it's a special treasure from Comic-Con.
Indeed, because that's the only way you can get a copy. Is Marvel's tried to keep this locked away. Possibly even destroyed it. No one's really sure.
It'd be so funny if it showed up on Disney Plus. They're just like, you know what? Everything means everything. Here it is.
Oh my, people would freak. Actually have like a good quality version of that movie to just gawk at and be like, oh my god, now you have to give us that holiday special from Star Wars.
George Lucas would have let that happen.
I think George Lucas destroyed it.
Yeah. He threw it in a volcano.
That's probably one of the Star Wars revert clauses is if you release the holiday special, I own Star Wars again. If you release the theatrical versions of Star Wars, I get Star Wars again. If you kill Jar Jar Binks, I get Star Wars again.
How funny would it be if it's just like there's a clause that was just like every 10 years, no matter what Star Wars thing you're doing, you have to involve Jar Jar Binks in something.
And you have to make slight adjustments to A New Hope.
just slight things like.
And it has to be specifically the scene where Han shoots Greedo. You have to keep changing it.
It just gets like weirder and weirder and further away from like that original scene.
There's gonna be a time when it's just like a boxing glove gun. McClunky.
Man.
But that's Fantastic Four, Rise of Silver Surfer, from a bygone era of Marvel movies.
The Lost Era.
A little bit overlooked in some ways because there's good stuff. There's some bad stuff. Oof.
They're fun though.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much more I enjoyed them. I don't know. Maybe it's just like time. Maybe it's just because Fantastic was so bad.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if they were like, hey, we're doing like a new Fantastic Four and we're bringing back like all the people from this movie to do the new one. I mean, that wouldn't work because Chris Evans is Captain America, but Michael Chiklis,
you know what?
Jessica Alba.
Give him a goatee. No one will pay any mind.
And man with the impossible name. I'm sorry, but I genuinely think you did a really good job as Reed Richards.
Yummy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I should have looked it up.